Today, in this video, I'm excited to share with you my top tips for ensuring that every travel adventure leaves you feeling rejuvenated, inspired, and ready to return home to peace and calm. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, please stick with me. As a busy working mom of two and an avid traveler, I have learned a thing or two about the importance of preparation and self-care before embarking on a journey. Whether you are jetting off to exotic destinations or you're simply planning a weekend getaway, join me as I spill the beans on the little rituals and mindful practices that help me to live my best life away and ensure a smooth transition back to the cozy comfort of my home. Because the true joy of travel lies not only in the adventure we embark on. Grab a cup of tea or coffee, cozy up, and let's dive into the world of travel rituals that will elevate your travel experience to new heights. It's travel season. Here are things that I do before traveling to ensure that I live my best life away and still return back home to peace and calm. The first pre-travel ritual I do before I leave my home at all is to ensure that I clean my entire house. Cleaning my house ensures that when I return, I'm not returning to a dirty house. It also helps me to have peace of mind and removes the anxiety of worrying about what my house is going to look like when I return. So knowing that my house is clean as I'm leaving gives me peace of mind, and I am very certain that I'm going to return to my house clean. Also, as somebody who doesn't thrive in a dirty environment, I know that if I'm out living my best life, worrying about what my house looks like will hinder me from enjoying the moment and really living the moment. So I typically will clean my house before I leave. Also, to ensure that when I return, I'm returning into a clean and calm space, which then ensures that my transition back into my home life is seamless, is easy, and is fast. So I definitely would recommend cleaning your house before you travel. The second thing I do before I ever travel is to ensure I have freshly cooked meals. This is because while returning back home from my holiday, the last thing I want to be thinking about is what my children are going to eat or how I'm going to start to jump into the kitchen and start to cook. Ensuring that I have food ahead of time before I even travel gives me the peace of mind that even when I return and my children come back to me, maybe from childcare or from wherever they've been to, when they come back to me, there is food for them to eat and I'm not worrying about, oh, what are we going to eat for the next couple of days? This makes it easy for me to transition back into my everyday life smoothly without the overwhelm. Just knowing that I have food for my children and myself after I return from my holiday brings a level of peace that honestly I cannot explain, especially as a mom of boys who really love their food. Having food at home gives me peace of mind and also reminds me that even when I return home at whatever time, I'm able to give my children decent meals without the overwhelm and without feeling any kind of guilt. Imagine traveling several hours back home and then the first thing you're faced with is having to cook. That's quite frustrating, and I don't think that that's something that anybody who has gone away to have their best life want to come back into. So I would recommend that you make sure that there are freshly cooked meals that will last at least the first 3 days after you return from your holiday. For this to happen, I typically will order food in which is delivered on the day that I'm traveling. That way, by the time I return, the food is still very fresh. I commonly order all of our food from AO Kitchen on Instagram. I will leave their Instagram handle somewhere in the description. You can reach out to them. Make sure you say to them Toyosi sent you. The third pre-travel ritual that I would normally do before I travel at all is to ensure that I do laundry. Nobody wants to be out there living their best life and worrying about dirty clothes in the house and everywhere smelling. Also, because the house is going to be locked when I'm away, I don't want to come back to a house filled with dirty clothes. You guys know how dirty clothes smell. So I would typically do the laundry, especially if my travel is on the weekend when my children would have to return to school the following Monday after I return. So I would typically do all our laundry, get the clothes ironed, make sure that by the time I come back from my holiday and they have to go to school the next day, they have uniforms to wear and I'm not worrying about that when I'm away. Thinking about dirty clothes that you have at home or what your children will wear to school the Monday after you return from your holiday would definitely rob you of the joy in the moment of you enjoying your time away. So I would say do the laundry as much as you can iron. Make sure you get things ironed so that by the time you return back to calm. You're not running up and down and saying, oh, where is the next uniform? How are we going to do this? Oh, because I wasn't around, we couldn't wash this. So I definitely recommend that you do the laundry before you leave, especially if you have children and they're going to have to go to school. Also, doing the laundry ensures that you're not locking your house up with dirty clothes inside. You know that everyone has fresh clothes, whether for school, for work, or whatever, and you can be at peace and really relax and let your head down and enjoy your best time away. The fourth pre-travel ritual that I do to ensure that I return to calm and a fresh space is to spray air fresheners everywhere in my house before I leave. Yes, especially when you have done laundry and then you have the clothes on the rack. Maybe you didn't wash it on time and you have the clothes on the rack and you're going to have to lock the door. Imagine opening your door after leaving wet clothes on the rack for a couple of days. The house will smell a certain way. So before I leave, like the final thing I do is to spray every part of the house with air fresheners so that when I come back and I open the door, everything is smelling nice, is welcoming, is peaceful, is calm, is it's just beautiful. This helps me to transition properly, and it also ensures that everyone is in a better mood. Nobody wants to come into a house after being gone for a couple of days and it has a stench smell. No, that doesn't sound good. I'm sure you agree. So when you finish doing laundry, you've done everything you need to do before you finally leave the house and lock the doors, make sure you spray hair fresheners. It makes a lot of difference. Trust me, it does. The number 5 thing I do to ensure that I live my best life away and I come back home to peace and calm is to ensure that I book my taxi to the airport and back ahead of time. I book my taxi to and fro so that I don't have to worry about how I'm going to get to the airport, how I'm going to get to the hotel, or how I'm going to get back home. Imagine having arrived Heathrow and you're so tired, the last thing you want to be doing is thinking of how to start to book taxi and all of that. If you're certain of the day you're going to return and the time, right? I know some of you might say, what if the flight is cancelled or what if the flight is delayed? What I typically do is to put a lag time of 1 hour, especially when I know the airline that I'm traveling with. I will tell the taxi, I arrive at this time. However, I would want you guys to give me this extra time just in case there is any kind of delay or any kind of changes. So if I was arriving at 7 p.m., I would book the taxi for 8 o'clock or 8:30. I'm happy to stay at the airport for an hour 30 for the taxi to come and pick me and I can go to my hotel in comfort or go back home in comfort, compared to getting to the airport and just, now trying to run up and down to find a taxi or find a way to get to my hotel. I find that really stressful for myself, and usually that's not what I want for myself. I want to arrive at the airport, get picked up, dropped off at my hotel, get picked up from my hotel, dropped off at the airport. So I would typically book my taxi to and fro ahead of time. This enables me to have peace of mind and not worry about how I'm going to get to the airport, get to my house, or get to the hotel from the airport. Especially if I'm going to a country where I've never been before. I also find that this also ensures safety. At least you know that somebody will be out there with your name, picking you up, and you can get to your hotel in comfort without feeling frustrated. I definitely recommend you book your taxi to and fro ahead of time. However, incorporate some miscellaneous or lag time to cover for when or if the train gets delayed or whatever it is that may have happened. The other thing I do with delays is whenever I realize that we have a delay, once I can get airport Wi-Fi or I have internet, I will message or email the taxi company and let them know that my flight has been delayed so that they can move my pickup time around. That helps me to know that even when I get there, at least they have an idea of what is happening with me and they can still pick me at the right time. So a lot of airports have Wi-Fi. So if you notice that there is any kind of delay or cancellation, what I would recommend you do is send an email to the taxi company, find a way to reach out to them and let them know what is happening with your flight so that they can move your pickup time around, and then you can still be rest assured that by the time you get to your destination, somebody will be waiting out there to pick you and you can experience the highest level of comfort. That's it for this video. I hope you find this video useful. If you did, let me know which of the points resonated with you or which of these you already do before you also travel. I would also say don't forget to share this with somebody who is planning to travel, especially somebody who has children. I am at Gregory-jonah on all social media platforms. I love to hear back from you guys. I love to connect with you, my subscribers. So hit the follow button and let's connect. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone.